Alright, so again, a Protoss vs Zerg on Python, similar positions. Some question about
again,
if it's the same replay.
I'm at the 6 o'clock position. I'm on the 6 o'clock position, so I would try to go for early expansion.
And there's a knock at my door. You'll have to cover while I go answer the door. Take it away, Rage.
StarCraft. So you're going for an early expansion. Are you gonna do the probe trick to spot his overlord again?
Yes, I would try to do that, but he scouted me anyway, and I could see it, so I'm just going to his main base.
So, assuming
also,
you scout him...
There's another thing that, pardon me?
So, assuming that you scout him first, you're probably gonna delay his hatchery. Do you automatically forge first then? Because you think he'll pull first?
If I scout him first and I see that he's making a pull first, then I would just go make a forge first as well, because I think it's pretty bad manner to go Nexus first when the Zerg is spawning pull first.
Yeah, of course. I just meant that if you scout him first and you get his probe, you get your probe there, you can delay his hatchery long enough to actually, well, you can delay his hatchery, so it'll probably pull first. So do you automatically go forge first?
Well, when I scout him first, I'm not sure, but I'm not sure what your question is, but yeah, I can definitely delay his hatchery, because especially on maps like Python, there's this one specific place where you can build your hatchery. So yeah, harassing the hatchery placement is really useful on maps like Python.
Rage, you're awesome. Yeah, so I think what Rage was getting at is if you block his natural hatchery, you know he has to pull, right? Because what else can he do? So I can see you put down the Nexus first. You put down the Nexus first. That's not risky? I mean, the timing works out. I mean, in this case it did, but it seems to me like it's a little risky to Nexus first against a pool first.
Well, timing-wise, if you really want to get technical, you can block 12 pool or 11, even 11 pool. But most likely, if you want to be safe, then you should just forge first.
Okay, here's a question. Did you ever play Mondragon on TSL?
Yes, I played Mondragon and I got bashed 5-0.
Did he do overpool speed every game?
Yes, he did. And every game he kept having like 3 to 4 lings in my base, and after 2 games I was like, oh my god, he's doing the same build every game. So I'm like, oh fuck, I'll just like put one more probe every game. And then if you watch the replays in order, then you'll see that I pull out like 3 probes the first time, 4 probes second time, 5, 6, and then just keep going. But every time his links just like, you know, mess me up, so I couldn't really do much after that.
Okay, so I forget who it was. I think it might have been with Rage as well. We had a bunch of Mondragon reps, and I was trying to like train up, study them for TSL, and I was actually getting like very frustrated, like actually to the point of anger, because it was like so stupid. He was just doing the same build every time, and it was like all the replays were 4 minutes. He would like go over pool into like 12 Zerglings, run out, and like get 3 or 4 Zerglings in, and like that was the end of the game. So I mean, like, how do you block that if you know it's coming? Say on a rampless map like Blue Storm. I mean, what is a Protoss player supposed to do against that?
Well, that build was really good for Blue Storm only because when he comes in, it's just at the timing when I'm just about to build a core, and on maps like Blue Storm, you seal off the block really effectively by making a cybernetics core in between, and it blocks your cannon and narrows down your entrance. But then when he comes in, the core is not even. I can't even build a core, so it's just really frustrating for Protoss players, in my opinion. And if you ever see Zergs do that, then the better solution is getting more cannons.
At your main or at the expansion?
At your expansion.
See, like, I think it's such a frustrating build because if you make, 3 or 4 cannons, then like he's already done economic damage to the point where he can just deny scouting, and then he could be expanding or going Mutalisks, like you don't even know. So, I mean, if you cannon up too much, it's like he doesn't even need to run by. He's already ahead. So, yeah, that's why it was so frustrating to watch.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that map. That build is just so good on Blue Storm. It's just ridiculous. What you want to do is try to just put a scouting probe in some random place, like, I don't know, like far corner or like, somewhere like that. So just when you think it's a good time to scout, then just scout with that probe. And that's what I usually do, especially after getting bashed by Mondragon. And also in this replay, I see that he had a late third expansion at the 11 o'clock, so that I know he's doing some kind of a rush, like he did with the Hydra rush in the replay. So I try to get 3 to 4 more cannons, because losing versus Hydra lanes is just the dumbest thing that can happen to you in Protoss versus Zerg.
Okay, and kind of as we were mentioning before with the +1 Zealot rush, I mean, you finished +1 in speed, but didn't really even move out, and then now you're not going into Dark Templar, you've actually gone straight into Psystorm, and I assume that's because you saw him with the Hydralisk upgrades when you moved out with those first couple Zealots?
Yeah, definitely, and even if I get a Dark Templar, I can't really get the I can't really secure anything because he has an Overlord nearby my base. So the whole point of the Bisu build was to get rid of the Overlords nearby my base, so that Hydras or anything like that can't rush into my natural expansion. And with the +1 upgrade, you just wanna like kind of see what he has and try to do some damage like this, and see if you can kill it. And you see that I see that he has like, almost 2 sunken ready, so I tried to pull back, but it was too late.
I think your micro got Pressure a little excited back there. I'll have to apologize for him. Okay, so, I mean, this is definitely different than the other Zerg game we saw. Without being able to scout him with the Stargate, how do you know when to add your robotics facility and begin to go towards observers?
Basically, what you want to do with the +1 Zealot army is that you want to check for how many Lings he has and how many Hydras he has, and it just all depends on your experience as a gamer. And if you see that the Zerg has like less amount of Hydras or less amount of Zerglings that cost less gas, right? Then you can just kind of sense that he's going lurkers after Hydras because it just comes with the experience.
Do you want to talk quickly about your hotkeys as a Protoss player? Maybe specifically in this matchup, or you can talk about just in general or other matchups.
My hotkeys are pretty simple. I just do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 to as gateways, and 1, 2, and 3 for my good major armies, and 4 to 5 would be like observer or like shuttles for like shuttle plays. And also in the beginning I would get 4, 5, 6 as a nexus so that I can make the probe and then get the probe mining to the mine really fast by just click on the hotkeys.
So you never hotkey above your main army above 3? It's just mouse?
Well, if I have more than 3 groups of army, I will do it, but I don't usually get that far in games anyways. So sometimes I would just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but most of the times it would just be 1, 2, 3.
Okay, and then do you ever use the F keys for macro, or do you just mini-map it?
Well, I tried to train with the F keys, but it was just way too far for me, and I just stopped using F keys, and I just try to use the mini-map, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And also, like, I see a lot of pro gamers use the, what do you call it, the shift tab to make the colors green and red. And I also use that, and it makes distinguishing much easier. But in 2v2 team plays, I wouldn't do that because it just makes it so much more confusing.
Go purple. Which one's that? Yeah, that's not really a good idea. I don't know how people don't use shift tab. Alright, we got a question from Jared. Do you do storm/DT drops late game or just in the mid game?
You should try to do high Templar drops whenever you have the chance. If you think you really need your high Templars in your main army, then just don't do it. But if you have like a surplus of 1 or 2 high Templars and a couple DTs, then you should definitely do shuttle plays because it really buys you a lot of time. And if the Zerg is not prepared or if he doesn't notice his minimap, then you can definitely get a lot of advantage instead of putting it into your main army.
Can you talk?
Talk about.
Go for it.
In PvZ, upgrades are really crucial in PvZ matchup, and a lot of times I would try to do forge and then get the shield upgrade, or even armor, or it doesn't really matter, but I would normally get the shield upgrade if I know that I can secure a 3rd gas. But if I don't know if I can secure a 3rd gas, then I would try to get the armor upgrades in PvZ.
Really, you would get shield ahead of armor off 3 gas?
Yeah. I saw Nara do it once, and then it just looked so good. I'm just copying him. Yeah, definitely for the Archons.
I mean, those things never die anyway, so...
In this replay, I see that Zerg is being really aggressive, and he's putting all his resources into army. And if you look at his 11 o'clock expansion, it's not filled with like a lot of drones, and it just has 1 drone per patch. So I know that if I can get just as many expansions as the Zerg, then I can win this overall. as long as I don't make a huge mistake. And also, earlier in the PvT, I forgot to mention, but I think the most important tip in PvT is that you have to know when to add your gateways, and you have to know when to stop and when to produce your dragoons. Normally what I do is, when I triple, I add once I have 6 to 8 dragoons, I stop dragoon production, and I just make 4 gateways, and once I have 4 to 5 gateways down, then I start making dragoons by then. And also, if you see that Terran is making like 5 factories or 6 factories off of 2 bases, then you should just cut probes and just focus on making dragoons and zealots.
We actually, that's a good segue into a question someone wrote on the forums for you. Seraphim wrote, I have no idea of how to cut probes I have a little idea of how to cut probes, but my question is, how do you gauge how much to do it, i.e. how long? How does that affect your gameplay, and how do you adjust your game plan to cutting probes? So basically, just can you talk about cutting probes a little more?
Well, I'm not a pro gamer, so I don't know like the specifics and everything, and I just do what I feel like every game. So I'll just tell you what I do in the game, and in my games, I just cut probes when I see that the opponent is trying to do some all-in rush, or like just very low eco army stuff. So I just cut probes and then just keep on focusing on army myself, so that because I'm confident that if I make just as many armies as he does, then it's all about micro, and that's I won't lose to like all-in builds, because I don't have enough army to block them. And also it depends on how you want to play the game. If you want to play it a bit defensively, then you should try to, you don't really have to cut probes, but you should focus a little bit more on cannons or something like that, or high templars, something that does a lot of damage.